Hello YouTube, and I have not done a video in a long time, but I thought the best one to come back and do is a discussion video on Big Mom in chapter 1011. I see a lot of controversy on this, and when I first read the chapter I was a little put back too, but then I started thinking, and Big Mom's character is consistent and it makes sense. Big Mom is an interesting character because even though she is very confusing, she's also a very simple character. I think Big Mom is meant to be confusing on purpose. She really is like the living embodiment of chaos. But before I get into Big Mom herself, I want to talk about a constant theme Oda has been using since the very beginning of this series, and that theme is titles don't mean anything. In just East Blue alone, we learn pretty quickly being a pirate doesn't make you evil and being a marine doesn't make you good or just. We see this theme throughout the entire series through characters such as Luffy and Axe-Head Morgan and Kobe and Sakazuki, just to name a few. Even Luffy's entire Grand Fleet, they're not really bad people. They're really not. Pirates and Marines aren't the only titles that can be misleading of a character's like true self or desires. Two good examples of this is Zoro and Odin. Zoro was introduced as a bloodthirsty pirate hunting demon, but in reality Zoro's a good man with morals and honor. He may be an idiot with no sense of direction and an alcohol problem, but he really is nothing but he's really nothing like as people perceive him. Like he was serving out the sentence of that little girl and her mom through that entire month. No food, nothing. Like he just tanked it like a man. Odin's entire backstory in a simplified version is that people aren't who someone else say they are, who they perceive them to be. The people of Wano see Odin in many lights. His first introduction in the Mountain God incident, people blame him and see him as the bad guy. When he danced in Wano for like 5 years, people saw him as pathetic and disgraceful. Not knowing in both of these examples, he was protecting the people of Wano regardless of what they thought of him. That didn't matter to him because all the nicknames and thoughts about him were irrelevant to who he was as a person. Now, to why this is important to Big Mom is because once again, people are using the hype that Yonko are unstoppable forces of nature that can't be stopped or can't look bad in any way, which I mean has still technically been true because Big Mom throughout all this shit has not taken damage once. Big Mom, I mean Kaido has started taking damage himself, but even him, he's walking it off like nothing. It's baby food to him. Like he's durability, endurance, regeneration from zone he's just unstoppable. So that still holds true. But when we look at the Yonko, besides Whitebeard, who was the stud of studs, the Yonko are pretty wacky people. Kaido is an alcoholic crybaby that wants to die an honorable death. Shanks is pretty similar to Luffy's childlike behavior we saw in Luffy's flashback and we saw when Mihawk visited him on that random island after meeting Luffy in East Blue. Blackbeard, although very methodical, is very stupid and reckless. We see this with Magellan in Impel Down when he just walks into his poison. He also isn't like the other Yonko too when it comes to displaying that raw power and durability, endurance, that tough skin, or exudes like Conqueror's hockey like Shanks walking on Whitebeard's ship. But that's probably why he has 2 devil fruits. Regardless of that, Big Mom, from what we've seen from Whole Cake Island to Wano, is that she is very childish, selfish, hypocritical, and unpredictable. Like, let's look at some of these examples. Let's start with her goal. She wants to build a utopia for all races no matter how big or small, yet she calls pudding ugly and tells her to hide her third eye because it's creepy. Now, why would someone building a utopia also be discriminating someone based on their appearance? That doesn't really make any sense. Big Mom is stated to send the heads of people who don't attend her tea parties, regardless of whether the excuse is valid or not. Or not their heads, but their loved one heads, regardless of whether their excuse is valid or not. It doesn't matter to her. You don't attend her tea party, you're not a good person. Why would you not want to enjoy this amazing festive event? Big Mom can go from singing Disney songs to destroy her own territory because of hunger pains. Big Mom is only seen to resonate with children, well, because at her core she pretty much is one. The closest thing to mother mode I think we've seen is when she gave her youngest daughter, I think, a knife for revenge. I think kids were picking on her or something, or they're playing, and she was just like, "Let the kids have fun" or something, which is very like what? Doesn't really make any sense. I feel like Big Mom's actions all lead back to the Mother Caribo flashback we see in Whole Cake Island. Caramel did nothing but enable her behavior and telling her essentially that as long as you mean well, anything you do is okay. Caramel just needed to keep Big Mom under control so she could sell her to the Marines. But what happens when you leave a child with superhuman strength and durability and a powerful devil fruit with the mindset that they can do whatever they like as long as their intent means well? It's funny because I see Big Mom as one of the most human-like characters in the series, but on like a weird, twisted level. Luffy and Big Mom are very similar when it comes to trusting and cherishing people who give them food. That is one of the highest levels of kindness you can show these two, and a good indicator if you're a good person or not, which is why we see Luffy fight Zoro on Whiskey Peak, and why we see in chapter 1011 Big Mom decks page 1 with a fistful of Conqueror's Haki, because even in the cruel world of pirates, there is still a code of honor, which I find very ironic and but very fitting coming from Big Mom, because on one hand, every alliance Big Mom forms is for her own personal gain, and she won't hesitate to discard that person once she achieves her goal or once she considers them useless. Best example of this is the Vinsmokes from Whole Cake Island. Also barely letting a second pass when she forms the alliance with Kaido, she shows her true intents by asking him about the poneglyphs there in Wano. She hasn't really been depicted as an honorable person or someone who follows any code, because she is very childish and only cares about her dreams and goals. Very, very selfish, except for when it comes to food. And I think the best way to showcase her loyalty when it comes to food is Trusin, the only husband that has stayed with Big Mom and her crew. I don't think any other husband is part of her crew. The only other person that was in Whole Cake Island that was a husband was Pound, and that was because he was trying to sneak in to get to his daughters and she wouldn't allow it. Trusin has the perfect devil fruit for Big Mom, and I believe it was stated that the food he creates tastes bad, but the fact that they were a dynamic duo for a big part of her childhood kind of tells me that since he can feed her anything he wants at any time is a very valuable asset to Big Mom, and probably the only reason he's still part of the crew. We keep being told, especially in Wano, that pirates betray each other, especially alliances formed with multiple conqueror users. Oda has been setting up the break of this alliance the minute it was formed. Big Mom is selfish and only cares about her own goals. This alliance doesn't involve food, it involves becoming the king of the pirates, and there only can be one king of the pirates. I will make a bet that the minute Big Mom gets a hold of Kaido's world poneglyph, she is getting out of Dodge. Besides from betraying the Vinsmokes, the minute she got what she was after, I think her conversation with Perospero in chapter 992 also kind of indicates what Big Mom is doing here. She tells Perospero that the alliance was her idea, then Perospero goes to say, "I'm sure it was, Mama. But remember, we've been dreaming of the day you become the king of the pirates," which Big Mom responds with, "Of course I know that. What, don't you kids trust me?" And I think that interaction is a good indication that Big Mom's goal isn't this alliance or honoring their agreement. I think all she wants is the poneglyphs. I don't think she has any honor at all until when it comes to food and potentially children. And I only say potentially children because it seems they need to be her own kids or one she builds a bond with, like Tama, because she did not care when Momo was being executed. But since Tama was nice to her better when she had amnesia, she had like this motherly bond protection for her. So that's just my thoughts on Big Mom. I think everything that's happened so far is imperfect with her character. She does what she wants in any given situation. Whatever she feels is right, whatever she feels is just, whatever she deems as a good or bad person or good or bad action, she will deem it that and act accordingly to that. Big Mom's goal in Wano was, of course, chasing Straw Hat, but I wouldn't be surprised if she used this opportunity as a perfect one to get the road poneglyphs from Kaido, and that's why she formed this alliance. Because she doesn't seem like the person to honor any alliance that seems temporary, especially one that interferes with her goal. She just does what she needs to do, get what she wants, and leaves or discards of you. So those are my thoughts on chapter 1011. I think everything Big Mom has done makes perfect sense to her as a character, and she's actually being handled pretty well. Will I like to see her fight all out and not get rolled out of the room by Nico Robin? Yeah, sure. But I think that is also part of her character. And I think the fact that she is just durable and has superhuman strength and a powerful devil fruit is the reason she is a Yonko. Not because she is some tactical genius. Because we've seen in Whole Cake Island that her entire nation is ran by her children, essentially. Katakuri is essentially the captain when she is off going berserks. So, those are my thoughts anyways. Let me know what you think, and if you like, hit that subscribe button. Hopefully I'll start uploading more, but I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch, so make sure you follow my Twitch. It'll be in the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Have a good day. Peace.